In my last 2 or 3 videos, I've had a lot of audio issues that have thankfully been fixed because the microphone finally broke. So the audio will suck ass for the next few weeks. Tough shit. Now, I'm sure everyone has heard the news that Sony said they'll be making their own super unreliable gaming brick, just like Microsoft, and they'll be calling it the Dualsense Edge. What a shit name. Cool controller though. As you could have guessed, I'm a very responsible adult, so obviously I will be pre-ordering this controller as soon as it comes out, even though it's likely to be $300. My review will be up within the first month of the controller's release, but today we are going to be talking about the specs Sony has released, what is apparently going to be inside the box, their apparent fix for stick drift, and some potential prices for both the controller and the replaceable thumbstick modules themselves. Again, probably going to be pretty expensive, but you know it's extremely cheap? Good content. It's cheap for you. It's cheap for you guys. I go over things one at a time because I am very, very, very fucking old, so if you're looking for something specific, there's timestamps here. We're going to be going over everything. Now, I'm going to start off light by saying I think we're all fully expecting some solid software customization and a couple of interchangeable profiles. Luckily, it seems like Sony's on the same page as us. Software will be available and it'll be accessible in-game apparently. The bad news, however, and this will be bad news to some of you, is they missed the memo. Unfortunately, Sony's first Pro controller is only going to have 2 paddles, or what they like to call levers, or what they also like to call dome buttons. Apparently you get 2 separate options between levers and dome buttons, and much like the Elite Series 2's paddles, these appear to be magnetic and swappable. These look like the levers. I don't know what the buttons look like. I don't know if one of these are the buttons.
LMAO, LOL, you're a fucking bot.
However, I think these paddles are designed very ergonomically well for the immense fat assness of the DualSense controller. And these paddles that are angled outward actually might end up being quite helpful in the long run. So next are the trigger stops. And I'm going to keep this one short because I really couldn't care. Based on the decal on the bottom of the controller in this shot from the trailer, these look identical to the Elite Series 2 trigger stops, 3-stage trigger stops, adjustable dead zones, blah, 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 blah. I kind of feel like we've seen all of this shit before. I mean, everyone's done everything you could do with trigger stops. These don't appear to be anything new. If they are, I suppose we'll see. So nothing out of the ordinary so far, but in a weird turn of events, for really whatever reason, Sony decided to release all the contents of what's going to be in the DualSense Edge box.
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
Well, Brad, apparently inside the box, there is a pack of Gay Station branded small condoms. I'm just fucking with you guys. Those are in the controller carrying case. And who the hell would have thunk it? Inside that controller carrying case, you can charge your controller. Oh my lord. That's one of those features that's really cool if you're a casual controller user, but if you're anyone who has a brain and understand how lithium batteries work, you probably shouldn't set it in your case on the charger every night. You might not have a battery for that long. Getting back to the contents of the DualSense Edge box, there is also an included USB-C cable, obviously, as well as a grand total of 6 interchangeable thumbstick caps, which are, of course, some of them have different heights. Some of them are concave, some of them are convex, so you have options. At this point, I'm going to talk about the one feature that actually interests me about this controller, because if I'm honest, everything here, while it is really cool that Sony's doing this, all of it's been done a million times before. One thing that's only been done a handful of times, I think only 3 or 4 times so far, are swappable modules, and specifically swappable thumbstick modules. This is the first time a first-party controller has actually directly addressed stick drift, and their provided fix is making the thumbsticks interchangeable, which A, is not a fix, and B, they stole it from Thrustmaster, who stole it from Astro, who stole it from Mad Catz, who probably stole it from someone else, but I really couldn't give a shit to look any further. Swappable module controllers have been around forever, and the idea is very appealing to the casual controller user because no one really wants to solder out those thumbsticks. It's a lot more work, and because my audience has heard it a million times from me, I'm not going to say it again. Well, I am. Swappable module controllers don't fix anything. A real fix for this PS5 Pro controller, which is inevitably going to be expensive as all hell, would have been to use Hall effect sensors, which I've talked about on the channel before. But because those would make it so the controllers actually don't die within about a year, year and a half, and Sony wouldn't make as much money, they aren't going to do that, even though they have in the past. There are some pros here though. Let's say the controller is $200, which sounds like a low-end estimate if I'm honest. If the replaceable thumbstick modules are $20 or $30, you can buy 2 or 3 of them and still be kind of within the realistic realm of PS5 Pro controllers. And I mean other PS5 custom Pro controllers, like the ones from Scuff and the ones from AIM, that cost a literal arm, leg, and torso, as well as a brain, skull, and liver. My recommendation, which just like with the eSwap S Pro, another swappable module controller I reviewed on the channel, you should probably not buy any more than 2 or 3 thumbstick replacements. After that, it might not really be financially viable. You might as well just switch up your controller. Now, I know I went on a little bit of a rant there for a second about swappable module controllers, and I would just like to point out, and say this directly because I know people are kind of fucking dense nowadays, I'm not saying swappable module controllers themselves are bad. I'm also not saying the Dualsense Edge is going to be bad. All I am saying is that the swappable module solution is the only other solution, aside from doing nothing, that would make it so Sony could keep making money off of controllers that are inevitably going to break. That's it. To conclude today's video, the Dualsense Edge is extremely exciting, and I can't wait for it. I'm a very big fan of PlayStation controllers. In fact, recently I've been using them more than my Xbox controllers. I find the symmetrical layout with the thumbsticks to be a lot nicer with these bigger controllers like the DualSense here. And I think we should all tip our hats to Sony for dipping their toes into a pool that is 14 years old and as dark as oil. I want to say this because I don't really know how many people are going to see this video. The videos that do really well on the channel are extremely sporadic, but this is a first-party Pro controller. This is going to have the most exposure. It's a lot like the Elite controller. Because it's made by Microsoft, the most amount of people are going to see it and be able to buy it. The Dualsense Edge is going to be a very, very popular device, and because of that, the very first day it comes out, I guarantee it, there's going to be a bunch of retards making positive review videos and review articles who've only had 4 hours of experience with it and are not going to give you a genuine review. My suggestion is to wait a few weeks until after it drops. I'm not coaxing you to come back to my video either. When I drop my video, be sure to watch a billion other videos before you actually go out and buy one of these things. A singular opinion online, no matter who it's from, should not influence your decision to buy a $250 Pro controller. Whether it be the angry black kid in a Marty McFly jacket who occasionally makes it funny, or the midget, the Canadian, the other black guys who do tech, none of us. You should create your own opinion based on the accounts of all of us, as well as a bunch of normal-ass people who actually own these things and not actual tech reviewers. With that, I think it is time to sit back and wait for the Dualsense Edge to drop. When it does, you know where to go. Undefeated, undisputed controller reviewer champion of the galaxy. There we go. To my members, you want to know something? How about this? For my members specifically, I haven't done much crazy with the members channel in a while. I will make sure you guys get the PS5 Dualsense Edge review at least a few days early, maybe even a week. So if you're interested in that, you can become a member. I appreciate the members who are already there. You guys are awesome. And as I continue doing my work, there's going to be more content for you guys, more exclusive content for you guys, mainly because I'm back on it. I'm back on the grind. In fact, I'm recording another video right after this about another stupid PowerA controller. That's going to be fun. And I hope to see you guys there when that video drops. Now, I'm not going to have an outro because UMG keeps illegally claiming something that isn't theirs. Please fuck off and kill yours. I probably can't have that one as an outro. Peace, love, and fuck UMG.